So I think I finally found a solution to my 350Z problems.
This is my game plan to get a nice Nissan sports car for really cheap. Now first thing, I found this car back in the woods back last winter. And at first we thought it just had a bad clutch. But after we put the clutch in, we noticed that the motor was knocking a little bit. And the more we drove it, the worse the knock got. Until I finally just let it sit. And then one day I got tired of that, so I pulled it inside, ripped the entire motor out, and was determined to find the knock. And we did.
Yeah, that noise right there is the rod knock. That is a bad rod bearing down inside the bottom end of the motor.
It was a bad rod bearing. And this rod bearing hadn't just gone bad, it had completely disappeared and gone halfway into the oil pickup tube.
That's what's causing all that noise.
So now I got a problem and I need a solution.
So then I started thinking, what other cars have a Nissan 3.5 liter V6 in it? And I was thinking maybe I could go out to the junkyard, find one that runs out there, pull it out, and make it work in this 350Z. And then I remembered my little brother used to drive a Nissan 3.5 liter. It was just in a Murano, not a 350Z. Now this engine is a little different from the one that comes in the 350Z, but the bottom end is exactly the same. So at the very least, we can use the crank, rod, and pistons out of it, and it'll work just fine in our engine. But the best part about this engine is, it actually runs. It doesn't sound like it's trying to come out of the car when it does. Not only does it run, but it sounds really, really good. The only problem is, the alternator doesn't work on this car, so I can't drive it.
Now you can see where my head's going. I'm going to take this entire car apart, get the parts out of it I need for my 350Z, put it in my 350Z motor, and stick it back in the car. That's the game plan, and that's how we're going to get this sports car for really cheap. Now when a car sits sometimes, it develops problems, and out of nowhere we went to go start this vehicle and it didn't start.
So we had some issues with this piece of crap. Of course it's a Nissan Murano and it wouldn't just fire up right away. There's nothing wrong with the engine, it's just got some electrical issues. It burnt out this fuse, so I put a screwdriver in between it to bridge it over. Then it started smoking and getting real hot, so that's trash. We took the fuse off the Z, which we're going to be putting this engine in. We took the battery fuse off of that, put it on here. Now we're going to see if we can at least get this thing started and back inside. We got a winner! It's low on voltage. And when Nissans are low on voltage, they will not throttle. It won't move because the alternator's bad. Yeah, that alternator's on fire. So here's the deal, what I think's going on with that. These valve covers are new, but I believe there was a valve cover leak that leaks down onto the alternator, gets in the alternator, rotor, whatever the hell is in there, the electric motor, electric generator that's in there, and it burns up the brushes. And that's probably what we're seeing right now is the last of the brushes getting burned up and the oil that's been sitting in there burning. So that's why we had the electrical issue. The engine sounds great, so that's all we care about.
Now that we're 100% sure this engine runs clean, has no noises, and it'll get up to temperature and stay there without overheating, we are clear to remove this thing and get everything we need out of it. And the fun part about removing a car you really don't care about is you could just cut everything you don't really need. This makes removing this engine and transmission so much easier and a whole lot more fun.
All right, guys, you see what time it is. We got the Harbor Freight table cart basically in position. Hopefully it'll hold all of this weight. It's done a great job before, so it should do a great job again, right? So the plan is, as always, we're gonna lower the vehicle down onto the cart, let the subframe sit on the cart, unbolt the subframe, raise the vehicle back off. Now, there's a few things that I'm gonna have to get to while it's coming off, so it may be a little bit of a process. We're gonna have to get this AC compressor out of the way, and to do that I got to get my tensioner down, and to do that I got to get it off the firewall so I can get it out the way.
Now to get this thing out of the car, we're going to use our old friend, the Harbor Freight table cart. And we're going to lower it down on this table cart and use every pound of capacity that this table cart will hold to get this engine and transmission and frame assembly down on the ground where we could separate it.
So now with the engine out, we could start matching things up to see if this engine will actually go in the Nissan 350Z, or am I going to have to take parts out of this engine and put it in that one over there, which it's probably looking like I'm going to have to take the parts out and just put them in that one over there, because this thing does not have the same mount as the 350Z. So the mounting points on this thing are back here towards the rear of the block. Okay, and I do not see really any other mounting points for any other applications. So this must be a VK35 specifically made for front wheel drive cars like Altimas, Muranos, whatever else they decided to put them in. This looks like one made for a rear wheel drive car, because you can see this big old mounting bracket right here isn't towards the rear of the block. It's kind of right in the middle of the block, and that's where our mounts bolt up. So now here's the game plan. We're gonna get that engine off of that subframe. I got another engine stand here over there beside the dog. We're gonna put that engine on a stand, get it beside this engine, and start making it happen.
Now taking this engine and transmission apart is always harder than it looks in the video. These two things are awkward and heavy, and using a cherry picker and a chain and a bunch of pry bars to get it apart can get a little aggravating.
Separate!
But once you do, it's so satisfying to know that you'll never have to go back with it again. On the other hand, it is pretty daunting to know that I have to take this entire engine apart, get the parts out of it, then take my other entire engine apart, put these parts inside of it, put it all back together, and hopefully it'll work right. Now to get the parts out of this thing, we basically got to take it all the way apart, or pretty close. Now first things first, we got to get this thing undressed and get all the stuff out of it that's in the way and that we don't need. Power steering pump, alternator, all the brackets on the side that attach it, all the clips, the timing cover, the timing chain, the oil pump. And once we get that all taken off, we can actually see our crank and rod bearings. And they look a whole lot better than the ones that came out of the 350Z, even though this engine is a little dirtier. And when we finally get the crank exposed, we thank God that it is clean and that it has no scuff marks on it. These rod bearings look really good, and the crank bearings look even better. So I think we're going to be able to rerun the crank bearings, get new rod bearings, take this crank out, take one piston and one rod out, swap everything over to our other motor, and we should be good to go.
So now we got two Nissan engines that are disassembled, and if you could say I'm in hell, you'd be correct. But now I finally have a game plan to get this one fixed and back in the Nissan 350Z, and we're going to put the motor to good use, hopefully, as long as everything works out. We got the engine in time. It took me a little bit to figure out. So everything's in time. We're ready to take this thing down, put the new crank in it, put the new piston in it, reseal it back up, and put it all back together. Now, there's a couple things I gotta buy still to be able to do this. Even though I'm able to salvage parts out of an old junk Murano, I still gotta buy stuff. We gotta buy a reseal kit for a new head gasket, because we're gonna have to pull the head off in order to get the piston out and replace the rod. So we're gonna need a new head gasket. We're probably gonna need to get the head machined or just sanded down. And then we're gonna need new seals for rear and front crank, new oil pan little seals that go in there, and there's timing cover seals and a whole bunch of other stuff that, you know, I don't got here. So engine reseal kit, rod bearings, and then I'm ready to go. Reseal kit, that's still like 300 bucks alone just for paper and rubber. Come on, paper and rubber. I digress. That's all we need. In the next video, we'll be taking this apart, we'll be putting that crank in it with some new rod bearings, resealing it up, sticking it in the car, and hopefully we'll be able to drive it, shift all the way into 6th gear, and run it like it's supposed to be. Then we're going to get rid of it, and then we're going to find some more projects to do. And if you want to see me build something cool, be sure to subscribe to this channel, follow along. Until then, make sure you follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and I'm now new to TikTok, trying to get the followers up over there. Head over to TikTok, just call me Eddie1. follow me there as well. Just call me 81@gmail.com if you have any questions about car projects, kind of like this one. Otherwise, stay dirty and subscribe.